am going to be making some wall decor. Now I'm going to be making these flowers here, and the way you make these is using the Cradfter's Companion paper flower set, and these are rolled flowers. These aren't quilt, they're rolled, so you really don't need any special tools for this. And there's a lot of greenery here, which I have cut out. And I haven't completely decided how I'm going to arrange it yet, so I just have a bunch of pieces here, and we'll use what we use. Now, to make the flower vase that I want it to sit in, I'm going to use the inverted stitched scallop ovals, and there's 3 in here. Well, 1, 2, 3, there's 4 that are plain. I'm going to use the second largest one to make a vase. So I'm also going to use this piece of 3 by 8 to make it look like it's sitting on the table. And the cardboard canvas that I have here is an 8 by 10, and I got this from Dollar Tree. So let me put this to the side, and let's start with the vase. So this is just a piece of pearlescent pearl paper, and I'm just going to tape this down so it doesn't move around on me. And that goes down that way. And I'm just going to cut this out on my machine. Alright, so this isn't much looking like a vase yet, but what I want to do is I'm going to get my guillotine and move this to the side. Flip this around. And I'm going to cut off, let's see, because this appears to be about 4.5 inches. So I'm going to cut off about 1/2 inch off the bottom, I think. So I'm going to bring this to 4 inches. And I need to make sure we're straight here. Cut that off. Let's see what that looks like. That looks pretty good. But I also need to cut the other end for the top of the vase. So I want that to be smaller. Let me make sure this is straight. That looks a little crooked to me. Let's see. Move it up to here. Bring it to 4 inches. Got that straight. Alright, now I'm going to turn this around, and I'm probably going to take off another 1/4 inch. Because I just kind of want it flat on top. There we go. So now we have a nice vase shape. Alright, now the next thing is we need to prep this board. Now I've decided I'm going to use watercolor for a background because that's a very quick way to do this. And I think I'm going to use a combination of this blue and this pink. Open that up. Open this one up. Oh, this still has the seal. There we go. Alright, let me get a paper towel. Now I'm going to take some of the pink and put it in here to make sure I like the color. A little bit more. And I'm going to make a wash out of this so it's not quite so dark. Here, let me just spray some in here. There we go. I'm going to do the same thing with the blue. Let's see, I'm just going to grab a pipette, put some blue on here, add some water. There we go. That is very, very red. So let me put a little more water in here. There we go. Now I'm going to wet this down, which this already still has a lot of color on it. This may be dark enough, just like this. Work the color in. I think I had so much color on my brush, and it was so pigmented, this actually might be enough. Just to do it this way. So I didn't want it too dark. is all covered. Now I think I'm going to take a little of this purple and just kind of flick it. Just to give it a little something here. If I don't like it, I can always go back over. Just like that. All right. Now if you wanted to, and you thought it was too dark, you could always come back with a paper towel and kind of sponge in, give it kind of a more of a spotted look by just dabbing. Oh yeah, that's looking more of what I was looking for now. That definitely had a lot of pigmented color in it. Alright, I think I'm going to leave it just like that. I think that will work. Alright, so let me clean this up, get this all dried off, and we can move on to the next part. Alright, so now we can finish up the vase here. Now I've decided I want to have a little bit of decoration on this vase. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in this embossing folder that just has this kind of pattern on it. And I'm going to run this through my machine. Alright, so let's see what we have. Oh yeah, that makes it look, let's see, that makes it look a lot more interesting and more like a vase. That will be great. Alright, so let's talk about the flowers here. So I have everything cut out, and I did practice on each of the flowers just to see how they were all going to go together. And what I learned is that you really have to get this paper going. You really want it folded. You want it to know it's going to be curled. You really want to take a second and get it all nice and curled. Go all the way around. Now when you glue these together, you can use either hot glue or regular glue. I did the first 4 with regular glue, but it did take it a second for it to dry. So you can absolutely use hot glue if you want to. So see, now this is already starting to curl up, and it's getting kind of the idea that I'm going to want it to curl. Alright, so I'm going to use a reverse tweezers to hold the end. And I found this worked really, really well. Because what you're going to want to do is just kind of curl it all the way around. Whoops, let me hold on to it. You're going to want to start curling it from the outside, because this little piece here is going to be your base. So that you're going to want to do last. And you're just going to start curling around, and don't be too fussy with it at this point, because it is going to kind of loosen up on you when you put it down on the base. So you just kind of want to go all the way around. I'm going to take the tweezers out for now and go around the end part, and now we're like this. Okay, so I have it all curled up, and I have that sticking up. So now I'm going to grab my glue. I am going to put glue all in the middle here, just like that. Then I'm going to lay this down, and when you do that, the leaves, or the petals I should say, do come loose. Now I'm going to put this down on the ground here so I can use both hands. Now if it opens up too much on you, just take your tweezers and twirl it around till you get it to the shape you want. Now just hold that there for a moment. Give your glue a chance to stick. You know, depending on what kind of glue you're using is how long you'll have to hold it. And I think I want to give this a little bit more of a curve in the middle. A curl, I should say. So I am going to grab it a little bit more and give it a few more twists. Make that a little tighter. And this is the one advantage of using regular glue over the hot glue, is it lets you manipulate the petals a little bit more because it takes it a second to hold. So now I can just hold this for a minute and it will stay. There we go. Now I'm going to take the petals that were on the outside and kind of bend them up and over my finger. So I'm taking them, bending over my finger and pushing them up. And then once this dries, you can go in and separate all your petals and push them all back. Now, when I did the first set of flowers, I did this first, and I don't know if it really made that much of a difference. It just loosened up the fibers a little bit, but I still had to go back and press the petals down. So even at this point, if you're not happy with the way the petals are lining up, you can come in and give it another twist if you want to. I'm just going to grab the center of it here, and I'm just going to pull it a little bit more. There we go. And we'll just bend those down, bend that back, and like there. Just like that. Let's go on to the next one here. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to teach it. We want to curl in. All the way around. Now this one here is going to be this flower here. The three of them are pretty close in size, and then the one flower is much bigger, the one that's this pink color, this one here. All right, let's see, it's curled up on itself. There we go. And we'll just keep going here. So now we have this spiral. Now, if you wanted to, I'll show you here, you can just go in and turn your leaves back now. But you are going to still kind of manipulate them once you close it all up. So I found, you could just do it all at the end and it would be fine. So now again, I'm going to take my tweezers and I'm going to start wrapping it up, going around the circle. Just keep going. Let's see if I can keep the paper out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. And when you get down to the end, you can kind of just wrap it around like that. And leave your little base hanging out there. So let's take it off here for a minute. Alright, so we have all this lined up. I'm going to put glue on here. I am putting a fair amount of glue on there. Now I'm going to put it down on the base. Make sure all the petals are touching the base. Like that. Let it sit for a second. Now this is where I can come in and grab the inside and twirl it around to where I want. And kind of hold it for a second. There we go. Let me just hold that. All right. I'm going to pull that over just a little bit. There we go. Now, I'm going to do the same thing. Start bending the petals back. It is still wet, so I'm going to have to hold it carefully here. And just start bending the petals. Take one petal at a time. Start from the outside. Now this middle part is opened up a little more than I would like it to be. So I'm going to grab a hold of it, give it a twist. Give my petals a little more space there. All right, just keep pressing down. Now grab the middle one more time. Really want that a little tighter in here. And I'm just going to twirl it. There we go. That's better. That's why I like to use the regular glue, because if you had used hot glue, this would have set already and you wouldn't have had the chance to manipulate them like this. And now it should stay. Here we go. Flower number 2. Now flower number 3, this has a lot of little things on it, petals, and it ends up looking like this. So this one, I'm just going to start curling it up, because these petals you don't really curl once you have it up, once you put it together. But you have to be very careful when you're manipulating the paper here, because it's a little delicate. So you still want to soften those fibers, but you can't pull on it too hard. And I'm going to go ahead and push these up first, just so I have an edge. Alright, make sure I'm not grabbing this one backwards. Now this one, you're going to want to grab it across one of the petals, because it is thinner and it is a lot more delicate. So this one you have to kind of do a little slower and kind of just keep going roundy. Just keep going. Alright, let me get to the end. I am going to pull it off my tweezers. Keep them handy. Right, see, I bent those the other direction. Alright, bend those up. Put some glue on here. And put the base in the middle. And you can go ahead and let go. And let it fill in to cover the whole base. Let's see. Push those up like that. Like that. Alright, now this you're just going to want to have to hold a minute till everything settles in, because you want that middle kind of tight on this flower. And I am going to let this one dry before I manipulate it. And it's just because it is a little bit more delicate. So I'm just going to let it sit like this until it dries. Alright, now our last one here, I am going to manipulate the petals first, because these petals are quite big. So first I'm going to go around and curl the petals. And I'm not going to curl them all the same way. I'm going to curl them all a little different. I'll come in from the left side, come in from the right side. I should say the top and the bottom. Go across the middle. Yeah, never do 2 petals the same. Just let the paper know you're going to want it to be curling here. Okay, so we've done that, but now we also want to teach it, we want it in a circle. Nope, and I just ripped that. Let me cut another one. You know what? It'll be fine. It's just the last 2 petals. We're going to continue on. So let me just carefully go around. I mean, you don't want to pull it too hard. We're just going to keep going. Okay. So now we're going to grab my tweezers. We are going to go around and around and around. All right. Let go. Put the glue down. Now this one has a pretty big center, so you can kind of make it as tight or not as as open as you want. So I'm going to hold that here. I'm going to push these petals up. I'm going to change the direction on some of these petals. I'm going to leave some of them closed, some of them open. All right, let's see what I have. Let's see what the middle's going to look like here. So I think when I curled them in the wrong direction. So let me go ahead and push them back in the other direction. So you can see what I mean about the center here. Actually, that center looks pretty good. So maybe give it a little twist here. Let's see, where's the center? Just going to kind of curl that middle one there. And I think I'm going to leave this one alone and let it dry. There we go. So see, it's okay. No harm that we lost 2 petals. It's fine. All right. Now let's look at the first one we did. So now if you notice here, this one is tipped with some pink, and this one is not. So I'm going to take some ink, and this one is the Plum Jam, and I am just going to rub it over the tips of the flowers. Push this back a little bit more now that it's dry. I can manipulate it a little rougher, not worry about it. And I'm just going to kind of go around, just to kind of tip the ends. There we go, just like that. And that flower's all done. Alright, now the next one we did was the red one, and I'm going to tip this a little bit too. And I'm going to tip them all in the same color, and it's going to show up a little different on each of the colors, but it will make it look very cohesive because they'll all have kind of the same tips on them. So there's that one. Now we're down. Let me close this for a minute. So now we're down to this one. Doesn't look like much now, but when you start bending the petals, and you can actually kind of just rub them with your fingers. Just kind of rub over the top of it, and it opens up all the petals. But you need to make sure it's dry before you do this, or else it will all come apart on you. And once you have it the way you want it, There you go. I think it's a little empty over here. Spread those out a little bit more. There we go, more like that. Just like that. All right, now I'm going to take the ink again and just go over the tops. Just kind of give it a rub. And we'll leave it just like that. Now we have the last one here, which I think is still wet. So I'm going to do it kind of carefully. There we go. Just like that. And I think they're all good now. Let me give this one a little more turn. Let's see. There we go. Stick that in there. Alright, so now we have plenty of flowers. Let those finish drying. Let's talk about our base here. So we have this. This is pretty dry. So now we need to make this look less like an oval and more like a vase. So I'm going to curve it because this is going to be more three-dimensional. So we're going to curve both sides. And I'm going to put some foam on the inside of this base to make sure it doesn't collapse. Just like that. Alright, so we have this piece here, which will get glued down here. Then this will get glued here. And then we'll be able to put our flowers all up in here. Alright, so I'm going to use this thicker foam. It's 1/8 of an inch, and this is what you would use for like a shaker card. So what I'm going to do, and I'm not going to put it all the way down at the bottom. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to make it anchored here. So we're going to start at the top. That's it, because we definitely want the top sticking out. And I'm just going to cut it off about here. Let's see. I'm going to be happy with that. Yeah, that should be good. Alright, so let me glue this on. And this could be any pattern you want, just something that will look like a table. If you had wood, that would be good too. And this is just going to go across the bottom here. Alright, now this will go on here. And what I'm going to do here is I am going to glue across the bottom and these edges here, just along the edge. Make sure the bottom is attached really good, and just come up on the sides here. And just hold it for a second. Alright, so now we can start arranging our flowers. So these are the two biggest ones, and then the rest of these are kind of the same size. So I did end up with 3 of these, because I made 2. Because I made them a little different. And then I have this third one that I made today. So let's see. Let's think. So we need to just decide where everybody's going to go. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There we go. 9. That's why it looked a little weird. Alright, so I'm going to get these glued down first. So I'm just going to pick them up one at a time, because I will never remember where I put them all. And I'm going to place them back down. And then I will put some greenery in. See, this is another case of where the regular glue gives you a chance to kind of move these around a little bit and group them the way you want. Have that kind of over sideways. There we go. So there's those. Now while that dries, we can decide where we want to put some leaves. So I think I'll stick one in here. And they'll just kind of slide in. Because there was a bunch of different pieces here. Let's go back and look at this. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pieces of greenery. So there's a lot of different choices here. So I'm just going to kind of stick them in. Sometimes I'm going to stick them to the board. Sometimes I'm going to stick them to the flowers to make it to where it's sticking up a little bit. So we'll put one here. Let's see, we'll put some more of these, put one over here. We'll put it in kind of sideways, just kind of tuck it in and glue it to the flower. Just to give it some more dimension. Let's see. Put some of that over here. That's enough. I think if I use any more, it'll be too much. Alright, so let's see if I want to make a design for the vase here. Because I have two little ones, and I have the one big one. Yeah, sure, why not? So I'm going to put the center one on first. Just put a little glue on the back here. And glue this down in the middle. And I'll glue one on each side. These are rather delicate, so I'm just going to kind of tap the glue on there. And bring it over this side. Do the same for this one. Tap, tap. Try not to get my sticky fingers on here. There we go. And I think we're all set. So there we have it. Now I can hang this on the wall. So I hope you liked this little project. If you did, give me a thumbs up, because that is indeed how YouTube counts everything. And please consider subscribing to my channel, because every week I will have more projects. And until next time, stay crafty.